Infinite Jest is one of the legendary most difficult books to read. So I read it. And at first it was confusing and it was boring, but then it became mesmerizing. And when I wasn't reading it, I found myself thinking about it constantly and taking screenshots to send to my friends I was buddy reading with. Infinite Jest was my July read for my Great American Novel Challenge, and it was on the list as being the great American novel of the internet age, as well as one of the best postmodern books ever. And yeah, I think it is great. Infinite Jest takes place in a not-so-distant future where the North American nations have merged into one, the Organization of North American Nations, or ONAN. And also, we have started selling the naming rights to calendar years, so we end up with things like the year of the Depend Adult Undergarment, or the year of the Tux Medicated Pad, so on. Which also feels like we're not that far off of that now. And also, most of the northeastern United States along the Canadian border has become a giant toxic waste dump. Infinite Jest follows 4 main groups of people. Addicts in Boston suffering from substance abuse and their journeys through treatment and healing. Wheelchair-bound radicals seeking to free Quebec from ONAN, student-athletes at the prestigious Enfield Tennis Academy, and the Incandenza family, whose father started the academy, whose mom and uncle run it, and who have 2 sons currently enrolled. Infinite Jest is a very big book, an encyclopedic novel, as they say. My copy was 1,200 pages and had copious footnotes. And like another scary and weird book, House of Leaves, the footnotes are important. They contain a lot of relevant story information, so be sure to read them. For about the first 200 to 250 pages, I was not into this book. I was not having a good time. The writing is very wordy, and I had just read Moby Dick, which was also very wordy. And the encyclopedic nature of the novel paired with the intellect of the author as well as many of the subjects can often have you feel like you're reading technical literature about lenses, refraction, ocular sciences in general, or pharmaceutical literature, which sometimes is no fun at all. We are kind of plopped into a story that's already in action on all fronts, and you're mostly just kind of along for the ride until you catch up. In the beginning, it felt like a book written by a guy who hates people who read books. But once I got to page 250 or so, I was hooked. Something clicked, and I'm not sure what exactly, but my enjoyment of this book skyrocketed. David Foster Wallace is an excellent writer. He is very smart, he is very funny, he is very witty, which I differentiate from being funny. And through the dense wordplay and tricky subject matter, he displays an enviable level of empathy and humanity. This is one of the most touchingly human things I've ever read. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that it is very dark. Anyone considering reading this should absolutely check the trigger warnings. But Wallace shies away from nothing. He looks at humanity and pain and suffering full in the face. It is also probably one of the funniest things I've ever read, which I was not anticipating at all. I laughed, I cried. This book has a little bit of everything. I think my enjoyment came from when I stopped trying to make Infinite Jest make sense and started just taking it 1 page at a time. It is a huge story in which it seems like a lot and nothing is happening all of the time. There are a lot of vignettes, plots that never seem to really evolve beyond the day-to-day drudgery of being a person, often featuring characters that we only see a handful of times. But this is a story that is not plot-driven so much as it is people-driven. His characters are amazing. His dialogue is witty, charming, hilarious. And the way that he's able to weave this spider web of characters and plots together is fantastic. Despite initial appearances and what you might gather from reading online about it, it is a cogent, cohesive story. Nothing in here is unsupported. The chaos is surface level. This is a book that I am immensely glad that I read, and I will probably think about it a lot for the rest of my life. In some ways, I think that I am probably a better human for having read this book. I don't know if I can say that I really recommend Infinite Jest. I think 98% of you would get mad at this and throw it against the wall. It's very chewy. I don't think it's something that would resonate with a lot of contemporary readers. I don't think it resonates with a lot of people. But if you're interested, I think you should give it a shot, and I would highly recommend that you take it slowly. I did 40 pages a day for 29 days. If you try to rush it, you will probably get lost. This might be a book that experiences you as much as you experience it. I do think Infinite Jest is one of the coolest books ever written.